Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I'm Denise Salcedo, and today we are going to be chatting about the November 16th edition of NXT 2.0. We got all of that to talk about here today, and to be quite honest, today has been kind of a hectic, insane day, everyone. So by the time that I started watching NXT, my tolerance level was very, very low. I had a long, hard day. Today was not my day whatsoever. Absolutely everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And so watching NXT today, it was an interesting show. And by interesting, I mean that we saw a lot of stuff go down on today's show. They did multiple matches, multiple segments, lots of vignettes, lots of things really went down on the show. But just because there was a lot on the show, I wouldn't necessarily say that that necessarily made for a strong show overall. In terms of looking at a lot of the episodes of NXT, I kind of felt like tonight was probably one of their weakest shows. And the reason I say that was because there were just some things where I just thought, why are we even doing this? Like, what is the purpose behind this? So there were things that I definitely enjoyed, which I will talk about today. But then there were other things that kind of took away from the episode. And it's just, again, I hate to stress this every single week, but it really is, the big issue is really just getting accustomed to this new NXT, to this new NXT 2.0. And as somebody who's been covering this new NXT 2.0 and talking about this new NXT 2.0, I somehow still have not accepted the new NXT 2.0. So every time we get these very different things on the show, it kind of just like, I don't know. It always takes me a second to say like, man, this is a new direction in which we're going with. I'm still not used to the new version, and it's still going to take a little bit of a while to get used to, especially as we go through each and every single week. But we got a super chat to kick us off for today. This one is from Nick Grosso. So I want to thank Nick very much, who says, I knew that was going to be the women's WarGames match, but who is going to be number 4 for EO's team? As for the men's WarGames goes, I can see an old guard versus new guard type of thing. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a second, since that's the way the show closed out. We know who our, at least we know the majority of our women's WarGames team, and it does look like there needs to be a 4th member added to EO's team, and we'll brainstorm and talk about who that 4th member might possibly be in just a second. But thank you so much to Nick Grosso for getting us started here. We got another super chat from Sheldon Jackson, who says, I tried to watch the show but decided to watch the relaunch of G4 TV, and I'm glad to watch your recap show to fill me in on what happened tonight. Well, I'll definitely fill you in and give you all of the best moments of the night and some of the questionable moments of the night. We got a super chat from Darth Stevens, who says, thank you for doing this for us, Denise. Much love. I gotta tell you, like I said, I did not have a good day today, guys, and I'm not sharing the details of like the disastrous day that I had, but it was a little bit harder for me to watch NXT tonight because I was a little bit grumpy. I was a little bit irritated. So I went in this in a foul mood. Okay. I wasn't happy-go-lucky Denise Salcedo today. I was just like bitter, angry. My life is a disaster, Denise Salcedo. I mean, other than that, one good thing did happen to me today, though. I will say that one good thing did happen today, and I can't say much just yet, but I did get to shoot a really awesome docu-series, which I think a lot of you guys are going to like. And I got interviewed for like 2 hours. I still won't say on what, because it'll probably give stuff away, but I'm sure you guys will be interested once it actually premieres and all of that gets settled. I don't even know when it's coming out, but I think you guys will know. You will know when it comes out. You will know. That was the one good thing that happened to me today. But we got a comment from Chair Relax who says, the show is getting worse. I I don't have very many words to say, to be honest, about that. There are, again, things that I like on the show, but then there are things where I'm just like, oh my God, this is not the new direction we're heading in. Yep, this is the new direction we are heading in. But with all that being said, let's get into this show. Let's do this, guys. We open things up with Dexter Lumis versus Tony D'Angelo. Now, Tony D'Angelo has actually been one of the bright spots of NXT 2.0. I haven't been the biggest Tony D'Angelo fan, but a lot of people have been a big Tony D'Angelo fan. He's one of those people that have gotten over. He was trending for a while, for a couple of weeks. People like Tony D'Angelo. So that's really good. I'm like, all right, cool. And once people started to really put over Tony D'Angelo, I started to look at his character with a different lens. I started to look at him differently. So I started to appreciate it just a little bit more. So I was like, all right, fine. Like, I get that people like Tony D'Angelo. So I'm going to give it give the guy a try. And I think that in terms of, some of the new characters that we're seeing, Tony D'Angelo, if you think about the concept and the idea of Tony D'Angelo, on paper, it sounds like a terrible idea. It sounds like an outdated idea, but Tony D'Angelo is kind of doing a really good job at making this character entertaining. And now, so you have this, this mob type character with Tony D'Angelo, and then you have Dexter Lumis, who is like polar and complete opposite of Tony D'Angelo. Dexter Lumis is, I don't even know what Dexter Lumis is anymore. I mean, the number one word that you hear used for Dexter Lumis is creep. He's a creep. He doesn't say very much, and he always has that creepy stalker look. I better run away if I see that guy across the street face. And so two very different types of guys, two different types of scary type of guys. But I didn't really know how this was going to mesh in terms of, like I said, they're very different characters. So how are they going to come together and how are they going to tell this story? So first of all, we saw that Tony D'Angelo gave Indy Hartwell, Dexter Lumis's wife, a fish. He gave her a dead fish, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. And he basically told her to pass this along to Dexter Lumis, that he would know what it would mean. And then this week, when he comes out, they refer to the fish again, and he has a drawing. Dexter Lumis, since you all know he does caricature drawings, he has a drawing in which he depicts Tony D'Angelo sleeping on his bed underwater with the fishes. Now, I over here, loser of the day, went on Twitter and was like, I don't understand what the fish thing is. And I quickly learned that apparently everybody got the fish thing except good old me. So the fish thing, I have been educated by the people on Twitter on what this means and where it comes from and what it is a reference to. So for those other people that don't want to admit they don't know either, this is a reference to the movie Godfather. The quote is sleeps with fishes or sleeping with fishes. It is a famous line spoken by Peter Clemenza, played by Richard Castellano. Yes, I am in Google.com reading this. And it's basically a Sicilian message in which it means that you've been dumped in the ocean for a deep, deep sleep. Now, I still don't get what it means, but that's where it's from. And apparently it's a mob thing. I don't know much about mobs. My mob knowledge is not that great. And before you ask, I did watch The Godfather, but that was a long time ago that I watched it. And I only watched it one time. So I kind of completely forgot everything that I saw in that movie. But either way, for those of you who are like, what the hell is this? If you were as clueless as I was, that's what this is in reference to. Now, for the actual match, Tony D'Angelo got a fairly quick win on Dexter Lumis. Now, I will say this. Given what they've been doing with Dexter Lumis, I feel like maybe some people might be like, oh man, like he does. I think it was the right call to have Tony D'Angelo win, and especially the way in which he won, which, Tony D'Angelo finds ways to essentially get his victories. And so I enjoyed Tony D'Angelo actually winning this match. And here's the thing. This is, I believe, like Tony D'Angelo's third match on NXT. So this, to me, felt like the most meaningful win that he's had, because his other wins were against jobbers. They were against Malik Blade. They were against Rufang, necessarily guys that we don't really know they're jobbers, okay? So Dexter Lumis is a couple levels above a jobber. So with that being said, tonight was Tony D'Angelo's most meaningful win on NXT. So good for him. Post-match, though, we get a lot more that unravels after this. We got Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes who come out and attack Dexter Lumis. They smash his hand with a chair, and obviously as an artist, they play to the fact that that is going to affect him because he is an artist. Okay, Johnny Gargano comes for the save. Afterwards, we go to commercial, we come back to commercial, from commercial, and Johnny Gargano is pissed off. He's pissed off at Carmelo Hayes. He's angry. He's basically telling him, like, you don't mess with family, and you know, I'm pissed because you hurt one of my family members, because Dexter Lumis is family now, as you all know. And then we have Pete Dunne coming out, and then Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams end up getting involved too. They end up coming through a different portion of the Capitol Wrestling Center, and basically what this all leads to is Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano versus Carmelo Hayes, which is going to be taking place next week for the NXT North American Championship. Basically, it was all of these guys arguing about who's better and who's not better and this and that. Now, this would be fine to me. Honestly, this would be fine. This would be whatever, right? This was not bad, okay? This was not bad. This was actually one of the strong points of the show, of tonight's show. This was actually one of the strongest stories that they told. But when you know the history of Johnny Gargano and when you know the history of Pete Dunne, you do really have to suspend your disbelief into believing that this argument that Carmelo Hayes is bringing out that he's better than them, when he's saying that Carmelo Hayes is going out there saying that he's better than them and all of this, you do sort of have to suspend your disbelief. When you see Johnny Gargano getting upset over this, you have to suspend your disbelief because we all know that's not necessarily true. So that is like kind of like the complication that I feel that we've been seeing with the old NXT guys and the new NXT guys, is that obviously the new NXT guys got to put themselves over, but at the same time, as the viewer, you know better, you know more. So it's kind of hard to get into these stories when you have all of this knowledge of prior stories within NXT and, you know, within the NXT history, especially for guys like Johnny Gargano, who has been NXT North American champion like a zillion times now, and Pete Dunne, who is literally like the baddest mother effer that there is out there. So it is a little bit hard to sort of really, really cave into the story completely. At least that's how I felt. Like I felt like even though like I really like that they're pushing Carmelo Hayes, I really do. I think he's been he's been good in the matches that we've seen. Obviously, him winning the NXT Breakout Tournament, he showed a lot there, but he's still not at that level where you think, oh my God, this guy is phenomenal. He's still not at that level yet. So when you think of this storyline and this feud and all of this, it feels like a step down for a major step down for Johnny Gargano and for Pete Dunne, because they were used to working with different types of talents. They were used to being in these bigger storylines when NXT was attracting a little bit more viewers and all of that. So it does kind of feel like a step down, but either way, I do like that they are building Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. I have been a fan of theirs on the mic. I've been enjoying what they're doing. I'm enjoying what Carmelo Hayes and both Trick bring to their promo work as well. They even had one funny line, which I actually laughed for, was when I forget if it was Carmelo or Trick Williams. It might have been Carmelo, when he said, I just talked to Snow White and they are missing two dwarfs, making fun of Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano's size. And we get that. That's a very, I don't know how to say it. It's a very Vince line, but either way, I did kind of laugh a little bit at this. But that's what that was. How did you guys feel about this opening segment? Go ahead and send in some thoughts, and I'm going to go ahead and pop in some of these comments and see what we are reading here. But we do have a non-NXT related question that I do want to answer. This one is from Andrew Tam, who says, Denise, wanted to ask you if you're going to be going to WrestleMania in Dallas on April 22 live. I'm hoping to. I am most likely going to be going. I like to go to all of the big shows, and WrestleMania is definitely a big show, so I will definitely try to be there. But let's see what else we're seeing here. We got a comment from Michael Campbell, who says, it seems that they are pushing this new NXT. The poker match was the worst segment of the show. A few good matches, just the presentation was off, though, throughout the show. They put so many ingredients into the show, and there were some things that could have worked, but all together, it felt sort of overwhelming and it felt incomplete. And I will talk about that a little bit more when I talk about that incomplete feeling that we got from this show. Oh, and thank you. Zeno Hour corrects me and says that it was Trick Williams who did that dwarf line. Thank you very much for letting me know. We got a super chat from Brandon Rosen who says, I agree with you on the Carmelo Hayes point. WWE booking always relies on the idea that wrestling fans don't remember prior history, which is why we hardly ever see any long-term booking. And it's hard. It's hard for me to pretend that I don't know all of this prior NXT information when it comes to Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano. So it is hard. It is hard. And I do appreciate the fact that, because for the longest time, we're like, build new stars, build new stars. Okay, cool. They're doing that now. And they're trying to do that with people like Carmelo Hayes, which I'm totally here for, but it just doesn't feel believable. I don't know, man. And I'm trying. I really am trying to, and I'm actually really looking forward to that triple threat match, by the way. I am looking forward to that. Carmelo Hayes is definitely going to be retaining. There's no way he's losing that. Pete Dunne is probably going to be the one to take the pin. That's what I'm assuming. We'll see what happens there. But we got another super chat from Liar Scenic 678 who says, sorry you had a crappy day, buddy, but thank you for watching NXT for us. Thank you so much for this very kind super chat. Seriously, God, I appreciate it so much. And thank you. You're welcome for watching NXT for everybody here. It breaks my heart, man. So I got to tell you, as somebody who's very active on social media, I can tell by my Twitter interactions, by likes, retweets, comments, engagement, general interest, I can tell whether or not people are interested in a show. I can see the difference. Like if I'm comparing AEW Dynamite to other Dynamites, I can see based on Twitter what Dynamites are going to be, what Dynamites feel stronger than others. And it's the same thing when I'm watching Raw, when I'm watching Smackdown, when I'm watching NXT. I can tell the difference in engagement and whether or not people are interested in a show. And ever since NXT 2.0, my NXT tweets have been dry. They have been dry. They're like dry biscuits. It's terrible. And it bums me out. And I'm like, please have the people gain more interest in this show. Give them something for the people to care about and actually care about the show so that selfishly, I can have more people to talk about with the show. Whatever. But thank you so much for sending in this super chat. It's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. And let's jump into this next topic here. And all right, what do we got next, guys? All right, next up on the docket here is Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy, he is backstage with the Diamond Mine. And this was interesting, okay? I actually like this. I thought this was pretty darn hilarious. So this is another good part of NXT, all right? Another good part. Joe Gacy approaches Diamond Mine as Malcolm Bivens is cutting a promo, so he interrupts him. And Joe Gacy has like this very happy look on his face, and it's kind of creepy because he's kind of creepy. And he basically starts to put over the Diamond Mine, and he starts to tell them, oh, I'm such a big fan of yours because I just love when people come together for a common cause. And then he starts telling Roderick Strong, as a leader, you have great responsibility and this and that. And then Malcolm Bivens is kind of like, all right, don't be butt kissing over here. Let's get straight to the point. If you want to join Diamond Mine, you're going to have to wait until we hold the open tryouts. And then he says, you can do the tryouts in a couple of weeks, but we charge $837.50. And then he tells them he has to pay up front and this and that, right? But it was so funny because Malcolm Bivens was oddly specific with $837.50. So I'm thinking to myself, does this number mean something? What does this number mean? Was it just a number that Malcolm Bivens came up with on the fly? What does this number mean? But either way, that was actually pretty funny. So he gives him the Diamond Mine card. He gives it to Joe Gacy, and now Joe Gacy can, hey, if he wants to contact Diamond Mine, if he wants to audition, do the tryouts for Diamond Mine, he can. Diamond, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Joe Gacy is going to join the Diamond Mine by any means. I'm sure they'll probably start some sort of feud there, some sort of story there, but I don't expect Joe Gacy to end up signing up with the Diamond Mine. I don't expect it. That would be really weird. Like, really weird. It just wouldn't make sense at all. And Edward Gonzalez wants to know if Joe Gacy is growing on me. See, the way that I've described Joe Gacy is that I'm not a fan of the character. I think it's very dumb. And there's certain weeks where I'm just like, oh God, why? Right? But then there are other weeks where I'm like, oh, this is so bad. I can't wait to see what horrible stuff happens. Where I'm just like looking. My entertainment is how bad what bad stuff they do with the Joe Gacy character. So the more nonsense that they have him do, oddly ends up working for me, which is just terrible. It's just terrible. I've been comparing it to, like, you know, a car crash. You turn and you look because you can't help it to be a little bit nosy. Drew Scott says, Denise's fave, Joe Gacy never disappoints, but I want to know when the tryouts for Diamond Mine are. Got to make sure I have my check ready. Guys, get your check ready. Make sure you got your money on your account. Send your Venmo, send your PayPal, whatever form of payment method you prefer. But Jesus, my favorite, Joe Gacy, my brother, right there. Joe Gacy, my bestie. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, we're going to move on. Let's see. Oh, this one's from Keith Duran, who says, honestly, how much of a stretch is it that Joe Gacy is trying to throw in some inspiration from John Wayne Gacy? The name is a big barrier from me getting into the character. Well, you would think that it would have to be connected to John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. Yeah, he was the killer clown that and he had a specific target of people and then like buried them in his house, and his wife pretended like she didn't know. She knew. Anyways, but I feel like if you're going to give him the last name Gacy, I think you definitely have to. And I'm not saying like, oh, pay homage to this like murderer, because like hell no. But at the same time, it's like if you're going to give him the name Gacy, you would think you would be seeing more shades of the character, right? But then again, maybe he is. I don't know that much about John Wayne Gacy. I did watch the documentary, and I know like the premise of it. Who knows? Maybe no, but that's not really his character though. He's more of like, we talked about this a bunch in the past, but he's more of that like mocking like the woke. He's essentially what certain people think, or what people expect the left side or Democrats or liberals or woke people to essentially be. He's essentially like that stereotype of that. That's like the character, right? At least that's the understanding that I have of this character. But every week, as you all know, I was very confused with Joe Gacy for the first couple of weeks, where I really wasn't sure what was going on there. But thank you so much to Keith Duran for sending in this comment here. And all right, guys, let's go ahead and move on now. Let's get into LA Knight's promo. So LA Knight had a fun little vignette. It was fine. LA Knight is very good on the mic when it comes to his promo work. He is on point. He did really good stuff with Cameron Grimes, as we know, when they were battling for the $1 Million Championship. And ever since that, things have gone downhill for LA Knight. The biggest thing that he's done recently was defeat Grayson Waller and to become the NXT Halloween Havoc host. And then apparently he got stuck in traffic, or his car didn't work. I don't even know what happened with that story, but he was late to being the host. So Grayson Waller took over. And that's literally the biggest thing that has happened to LA Knight in NXT 2.0. He also got beat on the same night that he was up for the championship. All right, whatever. So the point is that things have not been going great for LA Knight whatsoever, okay? But he comes out and he basically says that he is still going for the NXT Championship, that it hasn't happened for him yet, but he's still going to. He then addresses Grayson Waller, and he says that his big beef with Grayson Waller is that he stole his spot at Halloween Havoc to be the host. That's his big beef with Grayson Waller. So I'll be real. In terms of things that I did not like on NXT, this was one of them. I'm not interested in this being the whole premise of the feud, where LA Knight is mad that he won a match to become the host of Halloween Havoc, had some sort of car issue, and now, because of that, he couldn't make it to be the host. So Grayson Waller took over, and now they're beefing. That's the whole thing right there. But anyways, he says that he's the megastar, that he's the only megastar. So we'll see what happens there. Marquise Gunn says, SMH, I hate that they keep doing LA Knight wrong. I do not know. Maybe I can correct that. I get it now with the NXT 2.0, why he's not on the main roster, because now they're doing different stuff on NXT. So I get it now. But prior to this, he should have been on the main roster, man. He's main roster material in the sense that his charisma and personality they could definitely have him do something on Raw or on SmackDown. He fit in there very much. Now on NXT 2.0, he's kind of just a guy. He's not one of the guys. He's just a guy. So he's not necessarily, he would have been a little bit better off, I think, in the main roster, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited that he's feud. No, I'm not excited. I like Grayson Waller. I'm excited they're giving him a story. That's what I'm excited about here. And let's go through some more comments. This one is from Mega Geek Mixer, who says, Denise, with the women's WarGames announcement made, how do you think it will go, considering how some of them are still developing their skills as wrestlers? Remind me of this question when we get to the end of that. When we get to that segment, remind me of this question so that I can kind of break that down once we get there. So please circle back to me on that one. I don't want to forget to answer that. And let's go through a couple more comments here. This one is from Sour Machine Gun, who says that LA Knight and O'Reilly have been saddled with awful gimmicks since the rebrand. A couple of people too. You can say the same thing for Cameron Grimes. It's been interesting. Cameron Grimes was really one of the guys that felt like a big, strong focal point of NXT for a good while, and, had some good storylines, was liked by the people. And then you could kind of tell they didn't really know what to do with him, because he was doing the whole behind the scenes stuff with Grayson Waller, where it seemed like he was trying to get himself a date. Grayson Waller was trying to teach him how to get the ladies. He was teaching him, dating apps and all of that stuff. And then he ends up going into this storyline with Duke Hudson with the poker stuff, which we will get to momentarily. We'll get to that in a second. But you can tell that there's been sort of a shift to try to figure out where they put Cameron Grimes next. So we'll get there. Walter Johnson says LA Knight versus Grayson Waller will be a good match. I think so too. I honestly think so too. I will say that much. LA Knight was impressive for a few of his matches with Cameron Grimes. And I've been saying this every single week that I do like Grayson Waller, and I do like Grayson Waller in the ring as well. So I think they'll definitely get with that as well. And all right, let's go ahead and hop into I want to read this comment. This one's from Van Damage 87, who says that LA Knight and Cameron Grimes was the best feud on NXT this year. I wouldn't say the best, just because Adam Cole did some great stuff to Kyle O'Reilly, and I did enjoy up until the point where they squashed Karrion Kross on Raw. I did enjoy Samoa Joe Karrion Kross for a very good chunk of time, and there was a bunch of other stuff that I enjoyed. But LA Knight, Cameron Grimes was definitely something that was memorable for NXT this year. All right, guys, but let's move on. So after this, we get Jacket Time, Jiro and Kushida and Odyssey Jones versus Creed Brothers and Roderick Strong. I gotta tell you, this was another good portion of NXT. I was a fan of what they did here. I'm not a fan of the Jacket Time and the stereotypical stuff that they're doing with Jiro and Kushida. I'm not interested in that end of things, but in terms of watching them as a tag team and get to do in-ring competition together and working with somebody like Odyssey Jones, I do like that, and I'm a big fan of Odyssey Jones. If you have been here for my NXT shows since the NXT Breakout Tournament, you know I was standing Odyssey Jones from the second he splashed that smile on camera. I was like, that guy right there has charisma. They literally showed him on screen for like a couple seconds, and immediately I was like, he has a presence right there. And then we got to see him on the NXT Breakout Tournament. I was torn. I wanted him to win, but I also wanted Carmelo to win. So I was a big fan of Odyssey Jones, and I still feel like a fan of Odyssey Jones. And I think if they play their cards right with Odyssey Jones, he can sort of be in that, like, and I hate to be like putting people in boxes, but he could be in that like Keith Lee, Bronson Reed type of picture, spot on NXT. He could essentially take those spots, which is kind of unfortunate because those are two guys that are now gone. So there's that spot to fill, but whatever. So Creed Brothers and Roderick Strong, fan of Creed Brothers, like what they're doing there. So they get started with this match here. And this was fun because right at the beginning, you see Roderick Strong trigger Odyssey Jones because Odyssey Jones isn't the legal man. He's just standing there at ringside, and Roderick Strong just comes up to him and chops him on the chest, like pissing him off. I really like that. We saw a lot of, a lot of tagging, a lot of people coming in and out. And then we see some really good action when we see Brutus. Brutus Creed literally slams Jiro with one hand, just like slams him down. That was really great there. We then see a nice little glimpse of this match where we see Kushida be the Kushida that we love and adore and appreciate. Kushida goes in there, and with his speed and with his strikes and all of that, he ends up taking out the entire Diamond Mine team. I really enjoyed that, and it was a friendly reminder of how good Kushida is. We then see Roderick Strong hit Odyssey Jones with a slam, and Jones just comes and like literally out of nowhere just like takes his whole entire body down as he splashes right onto him. It was really killer and a great way for him to get the win. I thought this was a fun finish and a fun little match. It wouldn't have hurt this match to even be a little bit longer. They could have taken out like maybe 2 or 3 other matches that they had on this card, on this show, and given this match a couple of extra more minutes, and it would have been even more fun than it was. But it was a good, fun match. So I want to give that one a thumbs up here. Brandon sends in a comment saying, Odyssey came out of nowhere and splashed Roderick in the match for the win. Really cool ending. Hope they do more with Jones. He's big and his charisma, which is up Vince's alley. Yep, definitely right there with you. And thank you so much. This is another comment from Brandon Rosen, who says, he brings up the Wade Barrett line. So at the top of this, when Jacket Time comes out, Wade Barrett has a really hilarious line where usually like Wade Barrett's commentary is sometimes hit or miss. Like there's times where I'm like, bruh, you really just said that? And then there's times where I'm like, oh shit, that's funny. This was a funny one for me. Wade Barrett just says, we've had 1 week and we're still going with Jacket Time. It was really great. I popped for that. I'll pop for the cheesy comedy, guys. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here. And next up, we got Grizzled Young Veterans, NXT Tag Team Champions. Jesus Christ, guys. I did not pay attention to this because all I was looking at was that there was a person behind them sleeping. And I was the entire time I was watching it, and I was like, who's that person behind them sleeping? And I was thinking about that and thinking about it. And every time we kind of got a little glimpse, I would look. And so I completely just did not even pay attention to this. But there was a mystery person sleeping on the couch. And I don't know if they were wearing bunny slippers, but they had like some really cute purple pajamas. And I don't know if they were bunny slippers or what. I'm not really entirely sure. If you have any strong theories on who this is, please go ahead and let me know, because I don't have any theories whatsoever on this one here. All right, guys. And we're going to go ahead and jump into our next topic here. And this is MSK. MSK is still looking for their shaman, whatever. They're looking for him. And they end up going, they end up at the airport. This has been like now, I think, a 3-week-long journey where they're going by foot. It took them a week to make it to the address. Then it took them another week to make it to the airport. They get to the airport. End up on separate flights for some reason. And then they both end up landing, hugging each other, and they just celebrate. They hug it out. Yeah, there really isn't that much else to say about this, guys. Not a lot, not really a lot to say. Drew Scott says, sounds like the kid from Hey Arnold. Who sounds like the kid from Hey Arnold? Sorry, I'm confused. Who sounds like the kid from Hey Arnold? I'm curious. Okay, explain that one, because I like Hey Arnold, so I don't get the joke though. All right, let's move on. And before we actually move on to the rest of NXT, friendly reminder that tomorrow I will be back here to talk about AEW Dynamite. It's going to be the fallout from AEW Full Gear. We're kicking things off with Hangman Adam Page, who is now the new AEW World Champion. It's going to be in Virginia. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to see Tomohiro Ishii. TBS Women's Championship Tournament continues. I'm missing some other stuff, but there's definitely going to be a lot more. So make sure you guys come into that. That's usually my most popular show of the week. And then this Thursday, I'm going to be doing a WWE Survivor Series prediction show here on the channel. I still need to find a guest. Hopefully I can find a guest. If not, it'll probably just be me by myself. So hopefully I'll find a guest for that. Friday, I do not know if I'm doing a post show on here because I am flying out to Texas Friday morning to work the Mission Pro show. Mission Pro, as you guys know, is run by Thunder Rosa. I'm going to be doing commentary for that show. So I'm probably not going to be doing a podcast on Friday because I'm going to be sharing a location or some sort of location with a lot of the other women on the show. And I'm not going to be able to have privacy to do a podcast, and I don't want to necessarily impose on anybody. So I'm probably not going to be doing a podcast on Friday, but in order to make up for that, I'm going to be doing a prediction show for Survivor Series the day before on Thursday. And then after that, I will be back for my regular Friday shows. But we got a super chat from Sam Pi Boone who says, "Hey, Denise, did you know that they have a new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home tonight? It will be out for my birthday, December 17th. Well, first of all, congratulations. Happy early birthday. I am not a superhero person. I'm not really into the superhero stuff like Marvel and all of that. I go and I watch the movies. Believe it or not, I actually go and watch the movies, but I'm not really a fan. Well, I'm a fan enough to get through the movies, to sit through them, but I'm not a fan where I watch the trailers and, read up on it and follow up with it. I'm not that kind of fan. So I did not know about the Spider-Man trailer, but I'm happy for you. Very, very happy and excited for you. Thank you so much to Sam for sending in the super chat. Oh, God, I'm so boring. All right, we're moving on. After this, we got Xyon Quinn versus Andre Chase. And really, this was interesting. Chat, if you are in the chat, please help me out here, okay? Don't be shy. Who here knew what himbo means? Be honest. Did you know what himbo means? And is himbo something that you actually hear people say? Because never in my life, never, and I mean never in my life, have I heard the term himbo. And if you're sitting here and you're like me and you're like, what the hell is himbo, Denise? Well, according to Wade Barrett, himbo is the male version of the female version of which they call women bimbos. So the himbo is for men, like a male bimbo, an unattractive man that is dumb. I Googled it even after his explanation because I couldn't believe it. I have never in my life heard the word himbo. I hope I'm not alone in this. I need to see what the chat says here. But really quickly, we got a Sampai Boone who says, "Get Just Alex from YouTube. He is a big fan of you. Ask him if he wants to do it with you." I will check, guys. I will check. I have a screening process of bringing on guests, so I have to check and know the person beforehand before I bring them on to the show. But I will find out who these people are. I will find out. Thank you for the recommendations. But let's see. Who is Marquise says she's being honest. At least that's all you can ask for. Matt Hensley says, "I knew himbo. I've heard of it maybe twice before today." Jordan says, "Not Shirley Barrett just made it up." No, he didn't. I checked. I definitely checked. Ron says it's dated. Like bout it. It's dated. Okay. And then Zeno Hour says that himbo is a popular manga webtoon culture. No idea. Taylor says never heard of it. Devin says, yes, I've been called it by my friends. Sour Machine Gun says, besides the himbo comment, this episode was less HORNY than the other. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the H word on here. I really don't know. Lee Louch 4049 says, I heard it not too long ago. Cameron says, I've heard of the term, but it's not used that often for some reason. Twitch Face 4 says the correct term is mimbo per Seinfeld. I don't even remember that. I don't remember that. And I just watched Seinfeld recently, but I don't remember that. And Mike says the same thing about Seinfeld. Seinfeld said mimbo on his show like 25 years ago, but never heard of himbo. I don't remember the mimbo line. Okay, thank you. So a lot of people here do not know, essentially. Okay, apparently I don't know. Okay. And we got somebody admitting that they are a himbo. Someone says, can you please provide an example of the word? Oh man, I don't want to do that. Go on google.com. They have the explanation on there. But either way, I learned something new today, and the new thing that I learned today was himbo. I'm not proud of that. Anyways, this was pretty much a short match here. Quinn gets the victory here. Chase was able to get some offense, really just a couple of kicks to the chest, I think he had. That was pretty much it. But in the end, we do see Xyon Quinn win after he delivers a jackhammer. And then following this, following this is what we really need to talk about, because we finally have Santos Escobar back on television. Santos Escobar is back. Before he comes back, Legado del Fantasma attacks Quinn after his match. Both Raul and Joaquin end up jumping him, and as they're attacking him, Santos Escobar comes and he's just like, sorpresa, and he starts basically like mocking him, basically saying like, surprise, I'm back. And then he ends up also jumping in and attacking Xyon Quinn, and then they hold him down, and Elektra Lopez gets in his face and basically says, no one says no to Elektra Lopez. And this is interesting because I'm not really sure where they're going with this, because it doesn't make sense why, first of all, it doesn't make sense why we weren't seeing Santos Escobar, why Elektra wanted Xyon Quinn to join Legado del Fantasma, other than the reason for him being hot, I guess. Hot to her, I guess. I don't really know. So it was like, were you looking for a new leader, or were you just looking for a member here? Was he supposed to be replacing Santos Escobar? Was he not supposed to be replacing Santos Escobar? Should Santos Escobar be upset that Elektra was essentially looking to add another member when technically Santos Escobar is supposed to be the leader of Legado del Fantasma? What is going on here? Who's the real leader? Are they making our Elektra and Santos Escobar on the same page? Are they not on the same page? From tonight, it looks like they're on the same page, but the actions in which Santos Escobar was absent and Elektra Lopez was making these decisions don't necessarily make sense or line up with the story and the absence of Santos Escobar. Either way, Santos Escobar is back. Glad to see that, because I was worried. When someone is not on TV, you start to worry. So at least I'm a little less worried now. Thoughts on this, everybody? Go ahead and send in your thoughts. Goodness gracious. I'm going to read this because this is funny. Raymond Cosa says Elektra wants a himbo. I'm only reading that because NXT 2.0 is supposed to be the edgy NXT. When they were promoting NXT last night during Raw, the only line they had was Beth Phoenix talking about the sexual tension between Xyon Quinn and Elektra Lopez. That was literally the promotion for NXT. Prior to that, it's been promotion for Toxic Attraction, and how, ladies' night and all of that nonsense, and the close-ups of, girls' mouths and their lips and all of that good stuff. That's what the promotion for NXT 2.0 has been so far. Oh, God. Sean Martinell says, Los Himbos de la Fantasma. That sounds like a Spanish porn. That sounds terrible. That literally sounds like a Spanish porn tape. Los Himbos de la Fantasma. Jesus Lord Christ, that made me laugh. Okay, thank you so much, Sean Martinell. Pop from me. I appreciate it. People are really bringing in these himbo jokes, man. NXT Himbo 0.0. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right, I'm always here for these good jokes, guys. But anyways, people are here celebrating the fact that we are getting Santos Escobar back. And all right, let's go ahead and jump in. Brandon says, I'm learning a lot from this stream. So am I, everybody. So am I. Zeno Hour says, Himbo World Order. Jesus Christ. Harimbo. Harimbo was a himbo. Oh my gosh. Twitch Face 4 says, apparently Denise is an expert on porn names. Oh no. Oh no. All right, I'm moving on to the next topic. I'm just burying myself now. All right, where are we at after this? Oh no, it's time, everybody. It's time. It's time. Today on NXT 2.0, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not watch the show, this was the segment where I thought, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. Good day. Peace. Sayonara. All right. This poker segment killed me. It killed me. I'm sorry, but it killed me. There's nothing worse than watching something that you're not interested in, that you don't know anything about, and that isn't necessarily working for you. Okay. This one was a struggle. Okay. I'll be honest. This one was a very, very hard segment for me to get through because, for one, I don't know anything about poker. Maybe if I knew about poker, I might have been interested a little bit more, but I don't know anything about poker. So I was watching this and I'm like, am I supposed to react? When do I react? Someone explained to, and I know commentary was doing their best, and Alicia and all of that, they were doing their part, and they had the graphics. I like the little graphics, by the way. I like that kind of stuff, putting up the graphics on the screen. I was a fan of that. But I tuned out. I tuned out completely. It was one of those things where I was like, all right, just end now. Just end now because I'm not interested. And this one just didn't do it for me. This one didn't do it for me because, again, I don't know anything about poker. And it was when they were doing these like vignettes these last couple of weeks where you were seeing them play poker. I wasn't interested in those. And then we just got a longer version of that. But with that being said, I do appreciate the creativity of doing this poker game live for the people. And apparently people at the Capitol Wrestling Center seem to be poker aficionados, sorry. I'm not, guys. This one was not for me. This one was the first thing that I've seen in a very long time that was not for me whatsoever. The highlight of this, they play poker. Cameron Grimes apparently bluffs him once again. Duke Hudson gets mad and power bombs Cameron Grimes to the table. If you are a poker fan and you want to watch this, please do. This is not for me. The only thing I know about poker is Poker Face by Lady Gaga. All right, and we got a super chat from Brandon Rosen who says, the problem with the poker showdown is that poker on TV has a cult audience at best. Also, poker is low energy and wrestling is high energy. What's next? Chess? Just like Grimes and Hudson cut promos and fight each other. I made a joke on Twitter, and I was like, they could have played Monopoly. And then some people had some better jokes in the comments section about the Monopoly line. I was like, they could have played Monopoly. I would have taken Scrabble. I'm a grandmother. I love Scrabble. Candyland for the young people. Technically, if they really wanted to attract young viewers, they could have played Fortnite. They could have played Roblox. I know those games. They could have played even Minecraft. I think that's still a thing. If you want to attract the young viewers, that's what the kids are playing these days, those games, okay? But either way, the poker stuff was not for me. And I didn't know that the poker showdown was really going to be a poker game, which in hindsight, you're like, Denise, how did you not realize that? I didn't realize it. I thought it was just going to be, I don't know what I thought it was going to be. But this is kind of like the same thing. Like when we had the Hit Row concert, there were a lot of people that loved that. I did not. I was not a fan of that. That was not for me. So along same energy for the poker showdown, not for me. But how did you guys feel about this? Let's see what we got here. Drew Scott says Hudson played that hands like a real rookie. And then we got some funny comments in here. I'm curious, if you are a fan of poker, please let me know if you enjoyed this, because I know why I didn't enjoy it, because I'm not a poker fan. But maybe if I was a poker fan, I might have enjoyed this. So we'll see it. Okay, Lake sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Lake, who says, poker on a wrestling show? Poker? Yeah, poker on a wrestling show. But Andrew Tom says the poker segment reminds me of ECW. They did one back in the day with strip poker with ladies. Okay, but we've seen like when they do like card games and that sort of stuff. We also saw the APA do that a lot. I think that's different, though. That's a little bit different. I wouldn't necessarily compare it to what we saw here today. Naft Gaming says, bless you for sitting through 2 hours every week. It's usually not bad. Honestly, it's usually not bad. Like I said, I had a rough day today, so today was a little bit, I was a little bit on edge today. Justin Martin says they played cards in the middle of the ring. I don't want to watch that stuff when it's on ESPN, much less on a wrestling show. Thank you so much, Justin, because I remembered somehow, some way, I don't know why, but I recall a family member of mine watching that at my house one time, watching those games on ESPN, those not like football, obviously. I mean like poker games and those type of stuff. And I just remember being there and thinking, my God, this is boring. And I feel bad. I'm sorry. If you're a fan, bless you. And all of that good stuff, but I'm just not interested in that. And I wasn't interested in it then, and I'm not interested in it now. Devin says the gist is that Duke got bluffed into giving up a win, but a match would have been 5 times better. Sam Fine says a nothing segment. Grande Hero poke her. I hardly knew her. Mac Hensley says that man in the crowd who yelled, "We don't care" halfway through deserves a medal. Props to the most of the crowd for playing along, but holy F, how could anyone care about this? I did not catch that man saying that. I'm not going to go back. Never mind. Someone clips it out, send it to me. I'm not going to go back and look. No. Not going to do that. But I kind of felt like the crowd, I thought that they were into it. Like they were reacting. That's more than I can say because I was just sitting in front of my computer looking like I was at the DMV. All right. Mr. Tampering with Evidence says they should have had a shoots and ladders match. That's a good one. That's a really good one. All right, guys. Let's moving on, guys. We're moving on. Dave N says Denise bearing poker, sadly. Jesus Christ, the poker stands are going to come after me. The poker stands are going to cancel me on Twitter. I'm going to get canceled and my career is going to be over because I said I hate poker. Oh, man. All right, moving on to this. Von Wagner, Kyle O'Reilly versus Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. Quick match. Really not much to say for me, honestly, on this one, other than the Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly pair. They're, really doing this to push forth Von Wagner. He's somebody that they definitely see something in, as evident the fact that he was already making an appearance on SmackDown. Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen, I've been enjoying them. I like that they've been giving them the manly man character. They didn't really do it this week, but they did do it, I think, like a week or two ago. Von Wagner ends up getting the win for his team. This was really just to help Von Wagner keep looking better. Cool. I didn't really care very much about that one. We got a quick segment with Lashing Out with Lash Legend with Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller says the business isn't about wins and losses anymore. The story of DIY journeymen finally achieving their childhood dream is dead. He's feuding with Eli Drake, which we talked about earlier. Ali Knight, which we talked about earlier. All right, guys. And let's go ahead and move in here. We're going to talk about Persia going on a 2-on-1 match. She's essentially in a handicap match. Indy Hartwell is with her hubby, Dexter Lumis, so she decides not to, or Persia essentially rather tells her that she'll go out and do this match. So Indy Hartwell doesn't team up with her and it ends up being a 2-on-1 match. This is the match that I think they could have definitely taken out from the show. It felt incomplete. It felt weird. And Persia getting the win kind of wasn't believable either. Nothing matched, nothing to say here, nothing to add here other than it felt very, very pointless on this one here. Dakota Kai promo. She's backstage being interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell. She basically says that her head has been cloudy. She doesn't know who she is anymore, and the only way that she's going to find out who she really is until she ends Raquel Gonzalez. As we know, they have been continuing that feud with her and Raquel. Before we get to the main event, let's get into Gacy and Kayden. They do a vignette for them. They are now festival girls. This reminded me actually of if you're How I Met Your Mother fans, do you remember the Woo Girls? The Woo Girls? This is exactly what this new character development reminds me of. It reminds me of the Woo Girls from How I Met Your Mother. But either way, Gacy and Kayden are now essentially they were doing the TikTok stuff for a while, but then they kind of dropped that. They were pushing the TikTok thing on them and they were mentioning it a lot, but then they kind of dropped that and now they're doing like the festival girls where they're girls that like to go to festivals, you know, EDM and Coachella and Stagecoach and all of those festivals. They basically say that they are the life of the party and they're going to bring the party to everyone. Now, I'm not a festival girl, guys. I hate festivals. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a grandmother. I hate festivals. I don't like to go to festivals because people sweat on me. People are all touching you and it's really gross and I don't like to stand. I like to go to a show and sit in a seat in an air-conditioned building and enjoy my music that way. I don't like to go out in the sun and be there all sweaty with people. I'm not a festival girl, okay? I'd never go to Coachella or anything. I would go if Taylor Swift was performing. That was an entirely different story. She is the only person that I would go to a festival for. If it's not Taylor, I'm not going to no festival. But anyways, with that being said, I'm not a festival girl, but I'm so thrilled that they are giving some sort of substance, some sort of personality, some sort of depth to Gacy and Kayden, because Gacy and Kayden they've been very fun as a tag team. They've been very fun. They go out there, they have good tag team maneuvers. Kayden is really good. Gacy is very impressive with her athleticism. Tiny girl that can go out there and really just like blow your mind with the things that she can do, athletically speaking. And so I'm glad they're giving them something. They're already growing and becoming better as a team. Each time we see them, they have shown vast improvement. Out of a lot of the teams that they paired up together in NXT, they are definitely probably they feel like the most successful team thus far. The other ones I would probably say were Shotzi and Ember were pretty good for a while there, but I think Gacy and Kayden were definitely the strongest ones. So I'm glad they're giving them some personality, honestly. Brandon says, damn, Denise, first Christmas, then dogs, then cats, then poker, and now this. Man, I don't like anything, guys. Oh, God. Raymond Crosa says, Denise hates poker and festival. These are known facts. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Mike New York says, Denise likes chaos and blood. Facts right there, man. Facts right there. Someone wants to know if I would ever crowd surf. I would. I think I'd crowd surf. I've only been to like a couple of shows, like band shows, and that was to go see The Offspring, which was very fun. But I'm the kind of person that if I go to a show, again, I don't like being with people in the crowds. I don't like that. I will be in the back. Chilling, listening to music. There was only a couple of times where I've been in the front where there's no seats and people are squishing you and you can't breathe. I hate it, but I did it for the Dropkick Murphys, which was very fun. And the only reason I did it for the Dropkick Murphys was because they're my favorite band. And secondly, after their show, they bring the people on the stage and women are called up first to go on stage and sing the last song with the Dropkick Murphys. And I wanted to be the person to go up on stage with the Dropkick Murphys. So when I went to go see the Dropkick Murphys, I was at the very front, being squished to death. But at the end of the show, I got pulled up and I was the first girl on that stage. And then obviously a bunch of people ended up joining afterwards, but it was a really cool experience. And then for Billie Eilish, I did it for Billie Eilish because my sister's a big Billie Eilish fan. So I did it for her. I was squeezed to death for her, but I don't do it very, very often here. But we're going to go ahead and move on here. After this, we got, what's next after this? Tommaso Ciampa, Braun Breaker, one of the highlights of NXT 2.0. This is good stuff here, guys. More importantly, Tommaso Ciampa, he gives the people what they want, okay? And what the people want is Steiner freaking math. And he threw us a little bit of a gem tonight. So, Braun Breaker starts to tell Tommaso Ciampa that he's jealous because there's a whole new crop of talent here on NXT and that he feels that he can't keep up, that he can't compete with them. And then Ciampa essentially tells the production truck, hey, replay the finish of Halloween Havoc, and he shows himself defeating Braun Breaker. And then Tommaso Ciampa does some Steiner math for everyone. And this was fun. It was very brief, but just enough to where if you knew why he did it and you knew the story behind it, then you obviously caught it and you enjoyed it. But he said, quote, Tommaso Ciampa says, quote, I'm no math major. The way I see it is you got less than 33 and 3% chance of ever taking this NXT title from me. So that was a nice little one line where you're like, yeah, Tommaso Ciampa, he did the Steiner math. And honestly, that was, for me, the highlight of NXT tonight. That one line from Tommaso freaking Ciampa. That was it. That made my entire night. Lastly, let's get into this. Everybody here is, by the way, saying that this is the best thing from NXT. Really, really was. Hector Rodriguez says, I got wide-eyed when Ciampa referred to the Steiner math promo. Me too. I was listening to the promo, right? And then he starts it, and when he said, I'm not good at math, I didn't get it there. I still was just kind of like listening. You know, I was like on autopilot, and then he starts with the 33rd. I'm like, oh, reacting obviously, and then I rewinded it and made sure I caught the entire thing. But yeah, I was a little bit on autopilot there. Dakota Kai versus Raquel Gonzalez. All right, where do we begin here, guys? It seems like this story is definitely not over just yet. This is a story that they've been telling for a while. Obviously, it hit a huge pause. We've already talked about this a million times, so I won't go over the whole Dakota Kai thing again, but they've restarted this. And this was a really fun match. You see Raquel essentially manhandle Dakota Kai. She's tossing her left and right. There's a moment in this match where Raquel literally hits her with a back elbow. She then starts choking her in the corner of the ring. She slams her head like she's a doll. And then Dakota Kai just looks up at her and she starts laughing and she starts smiling and she looks like she's enjoying it. So she's clearly not all there. I enjoyed that. Raquel is basically telling her, look me in the eye, as she's causing pain to Dakota Kai. Look me in the eye. She calls her a loca, which is crazy, as you guys know. And then Raquel, for the finish, she is going to use a shovel on Dakota Kai, but instead, Toxic Attraction come in and they attack Raquel Gonzalez. So this ends up being a DQ. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. This ends up becoming a DQ. And then afterwards, you see Zoe Stark, Io Shirai, and freaking Cora Jade. They all come out and they end up helping out Raquel Gonzalez there. And then in the end, you have Raquel, Io, and Cora essentially all standing tall there. And Io Shirai essentially screams out WarGames. So insinuating that this is essentially your WarGames team. So for your WarGames team, you have Toxic Attraction, which includes Mandy Rose, JC Jane, Gigi Dolan, and they're going to be teaming with Dakota Kai. So that's 4 right there. On the opposite hand, you have Raquel Gonzalez, Io Shirai, Cora Jade. Not so much Zoe Starks because she's injured, so don't include her. So they definitely need a 4th. In terms of who their 4th is going to be, let me take a second here to if you guys have any predictions on who that 4th might be, please send in any predictions here. But I am going to pull up hold on one second. I want to pull up the NXT roster really quickly to look at this here and who realistically could probably be added to this. Would it make sense to add Elektra Lopez? That would not make sense. Indy Hartwell, it wouldn't make sense, but they could probably work it to where they could possibly add her. Kaylee Ray could be an option, but she's more of a heel, so maybe not so much of an option there. Saray could be an option. And that's kind of it, guys. There really isn't very many other people here in terms of who it could be. There aren't very many options. I would probably say Saray kind of feels like the best option realistically looking at this, because they can't have Casey or Kayden either, because it's like, okay, who are you going to pick out of these two? Ivy Niles a heel. So even if it's not her, it could possibly be Indy. Candice LeRae's pregnant, so that's not going to happen. So yeah, there really isn't that many options here. So let's see what we got here. Someone says Persia, maybe. Hell, I mean, she beat 2 women tonight, so maybe, but I don't think so either. I think Saray would probably be. Oh, Saray's apparently in Japan. Damn, I missed that. All right, never mind. So there's even less options now, guys. There are even less options now. This is a comment from Cameron Munford who says, alas, a really good women's match with a lame finish. I understand why they needed to do it for the WarGames reveal, and I really miss William Regal delivering that iconic line, but NXT 2.0, you know? Let's see what we got here. All right, I think I got pretty much everyone's comments on this, but it kind of seems like everybody's throwing out the exact same names that I am mentioning here. Pretty much the exact same thing. Everybody, there aren't very many options. Someone says Beth. No, she's doing commentary. So there doesn't really, someone says maybe they'll pull from the main roster. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Someone says it's got to be Kaylee Ray. They should include her, but it wouldn't make sense to include her with that team. So we'll see what happens, guys. It doesn't really feel crystal clear. For a second, I thought it was going to feel crystal clear, but I guess not. I guess not. Well, we'll find out shortly. Alrighty, everyone, there you go. That was NXT 2.0. Before I go, friendly reminder, do not forget to give this video a like. Please, any likes or comments on this video really help out the analytics, really help out the algorithm in terms of maybe recommending the show to more people out there. So make sure you guys go ahead and give it some love. Additionally, if you haven't subscribed to F4W Online on YouTube, please make sure you do so as well. I will be back tomorrow for AEW Dynamite, so please come in because that is going to be the fallout from Full Gear. So there should be a lot of good stuff on that show. Additionally, if you missed my AEW Full Gear review, you can catch that here on this channel that is up. That was a really, really fun show. If you want to check it out, you can. Also, if you want to watch the AEW Full Gear post media scrums, you can check those out over at youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. I have, I shot those with my DSLR, so they are good quality. If you guys want to get a nice, beautiful image of Hangman Adam Page and you want to see him in his full glory, you can definitely do so with my videos. And then additionally, I just dropped an interview with the Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay from Impact Wrestling, your Knockouts Tag Team Champions. I did an interview with them where we talk about their new lives, the transition into, going from WWE to Impact Wrestling. And they talk about branding, how they're branding themselves. Really cool to talk about them with that. And then they also do a BFF quiz game at the end, which was really fun because we get to learn a couple of interesting things about the both of them. Really fun girls. Make sure you guys check that one out as well. But other than that, do not forget to follow me on Twitter and/or on Instagram @_Denise Salcedo. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite. Goodbye, everyone.